It's week 6 of the 5 to 10k programme. We're getting really well into it now. So let's have a think about our coaching notes for this particular week. Okay, so there's two things we want to talk about. One is this idea of tempo pace. We've done a little bit of up tempo. So what really is all that about? The other thing that we want to think about is running on low glycogen, whether that is because you want to run on an empty stomach in an effort to try and lose some weight, or you're running an extended distance and you're just going to run out of glycogen in your body during the run. So we have a video from Sage Kennedy as usual, and he's talking about different muscle types. So we know that some people can run faster than other people, and we probably have heard about slow twitch and fast twitch fibre types, or really people would think in terms of slow twitch muscles and fast twitch muscles. It's actually the fibres in the muscles that are slow or fast twitch. And simplistically, it's fair to say that people who run or are able to run faster have more fast twitch muscles. Those that are more geared towards endurance running tend to have more slow twitch muscles. But it would be wrong to think about slow twitch and fast twitch as being different things. Like many things in life, nothing is quite as straightforward as that, because you can have slow twitch muscles that are a little bit faster, you can have fast twitch muscles that are a little bit slower, and in reality scientists now say it's actually just a continuum. There's no such thing as slow twitch or fast twitch fibres. You have muscle fibres, and some of them are slower twitch, other ones are faster twitch, but no such thing as an absolute. So, given that that's the case, then are we stuck with the fibres that we were born with? That's a very good question. If I'm somebody that hasn't been running fast, does that mean to say I'll never be able to run fast? No. The specificity of your training will address the degree to which your fibres can change, because your slow twitch can become faster, your fast twitch can become slower. So you train, we said last week about training for the conditions that you expect to experience. And if you're going to be running a 100 metre sprint, your expectation in terms of speed is going to be very different to if you're doing a 10k or a half marathon or a marathon. You can't do an all-out sprint for 26 miles, can you? So, training has to be specific to what you're wanting to achieve, and then your fibre types have a chance of changing to adopt the characteristics that you've been training towards. Now, if you want to be an all-rounder, then you want to be somewhere in between. But it's also not true to say that all of your fibres are of the same type. We all have a mix of them, and it's the degree to which not just your fibres are slower or faster, but the mix of do you have more fast twitch than slow twitch, or the other way around. So everybody is different. We've said that a few times in previous weeks, haven't we? There are no absolutes. So do the training that's appropriate for what you want to achieve, and your muscle fibres should react accordingly. The other way you can look at it, Sage says, is, well, for your fibres to change, that's not an overnight process. That's going to take time. So what do you do if you're landed with slow twitch predominantly fibres? well, you pick the events that suit your particular characteristics. So if you're not a good sprinter, if you don't have a lot of fast twitch in your mix, then don't go trying to win Olympic gold in the 100 metres. Go for the 1500 metres or whatever. The Olympics, that was maybe a bad example because you're training for the Olympics for years, and yes, you will have a chance to let your fibres adapt, but that's the principle. I'm going to be doing a half marathon next month, so I'm not going to be doing speed training. I want to focus on endurance, running distances. Okay, in the second video, Sage then talks about tempo pace. Now we have to bear in mind that Sage is one of the best in the world, or certainly at the time that he made his video. He was in the top 5 mountain ultra trail runners in the world. He had qualified, he didn't qualify for the Olympics, but he qualified for qualifying for the Olympics for the American marathon team, twice, I think. So he's not a slow runner by any means. But his moderate pace is going to be different to our moderate pace. We always talk in terms of effort, and the effort that he puts in to achieve a given pace is going to be a lot less than we would put in to achieve that same pace. He's used to doing 5-minute miles. Now, I couldn't do a 5-minute mile at all. I think I probably did a mile with a 6 at the beginning, about 6:40 or 6:50, quite a lot of years ago, but nowhere near Sage. Anyway, I'm rambling again. So, tempo pace. Jack Daniels, the coach's coach, he defines this as being a pace that you can maintain for 30 minutes, and Sage cites that same metric. It's a pace you can maintain for about half an hour. So you're not going faster than that, you're not going slower than that. You can maintain a pace slower than that, obviously, or level of effort, and maintain it for 30 minutes. So it's at the upper end of what you can maintain for 30 minutes. So I could walk for 30 minutes. This morning I walked for nearly 2 hours without any real effort, but I couldn't run at 6-minute kilometres anymore. That used to be my cruising pace, but I couldn't do that now for 2 hours. I can't do it for 30 minutes now. I need to try and keep trying to get my body back into a state where I can do that. So we talk in terms rather than pace of your level of effort, and we try to find a way that we can measure our level of effort at any particular time. And I've given you a bit of an introduction to the breath test, a way to gauge how hard you're working. The rate of perceived exertion, RPE scale. So RPE is a scale of 0 to 10, where 0 is sitting on the couch doing nothing. 10 is running 100 metres as hard as you possibly can. And for the most part, we're running at 50 to 60% of that. If we're doing a tempo, we're probably somewhere nearer 80% for somebody who's trained. Now, at this stage in our progression, we talk about up-tempo. Up-tempo is a level of effort that's about 20% more than the level of effort that you're putting in at cruising pace. You can, at your cruising effort. You can definitely feel that you're working harder. Your body suddenly starts to straighten up a bit more, and you start to breathe a bit heavier, but you can manage that. So last week we did that, but we were only doing it for maybe 200 metres, And in the science of ultra talk, we were saying, well, when you're doing speed work, you would start with 200 meter reps, then go to maybe 250 meters, then when you're used to that, 300 meters, when you're used to that, 400 meters. As your body adapts, you can achieve more at the same level of effort, the same RPE. So we talked about one of the best ways to measure that is the breath test. So speaking, Mary had a little lamb, or something like that, out loud. So if you can talk as I am just now, Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, its lamb was sure to go. You're not putting in a huge amount of effort. You might be able to do that up to, say, 30 or 40% effort, a 3 or a 4 on the RPE scale. Once you get up to a 5, say, you'll be saying, Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, that lamb was sure to go. Get up to a 7 and it's, Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. And 8 or a 9 is, Mary had a little lamb, its blinking egg, fleece was white as snow. And if you're going 9 to 10, you just can't breathe at all. So it's because your muscles are working so hard, it needs to get the oxygen in to get this ATP process working, the chemical process, the burning that provides the go in your muscles. So we can do the talk test. So how to increase your tempo, pace. This is fair to talk about pace at this point. So your pace is related to your ability to perform at a certain level of effort. So a sprinter at a level 7 is going to be running at a much faster pace than a marathon runner at a level 7. A beginner at level 7 is going to be nowhere near somebody who's even used to running 5Ks. So as we're training, then our ability to maintain a level of effort should mean that at that level of effort our pace will be increased. So tempo level of effort, is a pace that you can maintain for about 30 minutes. That equates to a level of effort that you can maintain for 30 minutes. So to increase your tempo, try a workout using repetitions with a given pattern. Start at a cruising pace, increase to your tempo, in our case our up-tempo pace, then go back to cruising pace, then have a bit of a rest, then repeat. So what we've been doing up to now is continuing to do reps without any real rest. So think of it as kind of longer distance strides. Strides would be maximum 50 meters or so. So week, where are we now? So it'd be week 4, we would be starting to do about 200 meters up tempo. So that's definitely up tempo. And you were running faster. That was your up tempo pace at that level of effort that you were able to maintain for 200 meters. By the end of the program, you should be able to maintain that for maybe 400 or 500 meters. And then if you continue to improve by training, then eventually you'll be able to keep that up for a full 30 minutes at that level of effort, that level of pace. Good. Okay. So the aim is to increase the number of reps that you do within a period, or to increase the time that you spend at that tempo pace over the same period. If you do that, then we talked about cruising pace, your pace at a cruising level of effort, that will increase. So instead of maybe taking 8 minutes a kilometre and you feel comfortable, that's about a 5 or a 6 level of effort. You'll find that you're doing 6 minutes for a 5 or a 6 level of effort. That's what we're aiming for in training, is to get our bodies to adapt so that we can run further or faster for the same level of effort, the whole ethos of this program. So, as I say, in the 10k program we use up-tempo pace. It's less than full tempo pace. It's one that we know is not going to be so intense that we're going to be at risk of picking up an injury. It gets you working a level which I like to call comfortably uncomfortable. It should be, my goodness, I'm working a little bit harder. Your first rep, you're going to think, oh, this is good, this feels good. And your second rep, yeah, I'm managing this. Third rep, I'm really surprised I'm keeping this up. By the time you get to 6 or 7, you're now tiring and you're thinking, this is getting quite hard work. And by the time you would get to 10, if you've got the courage to go that far, then you just need to sit down for 5 minutes and recover. So in the program, we have you doing that kind of workout once a week. And in most athletics clubs, you would have that kind of training once a week. You would do a tempo run and you would do a fast workout, a really hard workout. Do one of each of these each week. Okay, so I'm already 17 minutes in and we haven't started the Science of Ultra yet. The other video that I want you to watch is, again, Kirk from the Run Experience. We saw him last week giving you advice on principally downhill running, but like Sage did last week, he talked about uphill as well. This week is talking about how to run further without becoming tired, and I think that is really quite a good video. It's talking about techniques that you can use when you're starting to feel tired. In Couch to 5k, the bit of advice that I give to the beginners is, so you feel that you need to stop and walk. So here's a 3-stage process to let you see whether you really do need to. So how's my chest? Am I getting any discomfort or any pains? If I am, then that's an amber flag. So yeah, maybe I should back off. I'm doing too much. How's my breathing? Am I still breathing okay, or is it really laboured? If it's really, you should be, out of breath. You should be breathing hard, but you shouldn't be struggling to breathe. If you are, you're working too hard. How are my legs? Are they really getting tired? Yes, they should be a little bit tired, might be a little bit uncomfortable as your run progresses. It shouldn't be sore, you shouldn't be concerned about your legs. So if you've got any of these 3, then okay, just stop, have a walk. No harm in that. Run when you can, walk when you have to. But if you get a green tick from all of these, 3 green ticks says it's that chimp on your shoulder, it's whispering in your ear and saying, it'd be easier just to stop and have a walk. So put that to the side, keep going, and you'll find that almost as soon as you make the decision to keep going, the discomfort goes away. It's quite incredible. So Kirk has his 3 ideas on how to cope with becoming tired. First one, he says, reset your breathing. Every mile, and don't breathe through your mouth anymore, start breathing through your nose for a period. Second one, we talked about this last week, I think, in particular, when we were talking about running downhill. We said running uphill, you maintain your cadence, the number of steps per minute. Going downhill, you maintain your cadence, the number of steps per minute. Kirk says, maintain your cadence. That will help prevent you becoming tired. My suggestion here is that you can get a metronome a metronome app for your phone, and you can say, I want to do 120 steps a minute, and it will go click, 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 and run the app, and you can just, make your pace adapt to the clicks rather, and get into that routine, and you'll soon get into the way of it. The important thing is that as you're getting towards the end of the run, when you're getting tired, your cadence is likely to slip because your running form is slipping. So you'll want to keep your cadence going at that time. Have your metronome running. Click, 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 click. And if your feet can keep going according to the cadence in the metronome, then your running form will stay reasonably good, and your running economy won't degrade as much as it otherwise would. Okay, science of ultra. It's talking about running on low glycogen. So this is a little bit esoteric, but still interesting nonetheless, particularly if you've got an ambition to run a half marathon or a marathon, because when you get nearer the end of both of these, your body does start running out of fuel, particularly in a marathon. You might have heard about people hitting the wall, and it tends to happen about the 20-mile mark. And hitting the wall is when your body runs out of fuel, when you've got no glycogen left, no glucose left to come through to power your muscles. Then you start burning fat. Now this can also happen on half marathons. It can happen on a 10k. If you're running really quite hard, then you're burning through your energy quicker, as I think we talked about that in week 5. You need to train. If you want to run harder for longer distances, you need to train to get your body used to doing that. Okay, so the aim of low glycogen training is to get your body used to running on the fat instead of carbohydrates. So the theory is that if you run on an empty stomach, then that will mimic running on low glycogen, and it will condition your body to accept that is normal. The question that the science of ultra addresses is that normal? Okay, so our normal store of energy is 2,000 calories thereabout, 500 in the liver, 1,500 in your muscles. Now we use about 70 calories for every kilometre that we do exercise, and that is absolutely right. I know that if I go and do a 5k, I'm going to be 340 to 360 calories. Doesn't matter what pace I'm doing it. If I'm doing 10k, I know it's going to be about 700, 750 calories, and so on. So if we don't take any extra nutrition while we're doing a longer run, then we're going to run out of energy at about 32 kilometres. That's 70 calories per kilometre, and you started off with 2,000. So about 32 kilometres. Now surprisingly, or maybe not, that is 20 miles. That is where people hit the wall. So hitting the wall is that you run out of energy. We just run out of fuel. So your body at that time has to start running on stored fat. It also means that your body starts to go into survival mode, and parts of your body that are low priority, they get starved to send the energy that you do have to your muscles to keep you running. And I can testify to that. When you're doing a marathon and you hit the wall, and particularly in the last couple of miles, then your brain starts doing crazy things, really funny things, and it's because your body is deliberately starving your brain of nutrition to keep your body running. Your brain isn't working the way it should be, and you literally go crazy. You're not the same person. I remember the end of a Stirling marathon. I was shouting at my wife and something I would never ever do. I just wasn't myself, and it was simply that I hadn't taken on nutrition and I'd run out of fuel. My brain was being starved. So two approaches you can have. You can either run in the morning before you eat anything, so you've been fasting overnight. That's the one that I prefer. Or you can do a heavy workout, then fast for 10 to 12 hours, then go back out again without having eaten anything. So it could be that you're doing a hard workout at night and you're going out in the morning doing another hard workout, or it could be you're doing hard one in the morning and then you're going about your normal day and you do another hard workout in the evening. So which one of these is the best? So I'm going to be reading from my notes here. In overnight fasting, the liver is almost empty by morning, but the muscles still try to use the energy which should be stored in the liver. So the liver gets put under stress because it's trying to generate glycogen to replace that which you've burned. And you can get about 5 to 10 miles before you hit the wall. That's your brain's reaction to being starved. If you're doing double training, by the time you do your second one, so overnight your liver has time to get some energy stored again. If you're doing double training, both your liver and the muscles are going to be low on energy when you start. So you're going to be using your fat stores right from the very outset. So it's not just your brain that hits the wall, it's the muscles that hit the wall. You start cramping up and you just can't continue to run. Also, if you're using the overnight fasting method, you've been doing a hard workout the previous night. While you're asleep, your body has been starting to repair that damage, and that means it's going to be using some of your residual energy to carry out that repair process. So you've got double the call on it. Your body doesn't have energy left. It's still busy trying to repair damage from the night before. So you're already running on damaged fibres. So the research seems to say double training is the wrong thing to do. If you're doing overnight fasting, you are going to be getting on to burning your fat, but the downsides of it are just outweigh the benefits that you're going to get. If you're going out on an empty stomach, having eaten the night before, then there will still be some energy stores in your body, and that will get you started, but there'll be more of a gradual transition across to burning fat. So in my experience, if you're trying to lose weight, and I came back to running because I was really heavily overweight, and I wanted to get rid of it. So I went out and ran on an empty stomach to try and promote my weight loss, and I found it was really effective. So when you're on a calorie deficit, if you're only taking in, say, 1,200 calories instead of the 2,500 that's recommended, then the reason that you lose weight by that is that you're not taking on enough calories to sustain your normal activities. So by having a calorie deficit, your body is naturally burning fat to keep you going. That's how you lose weight. That's why you lose the fat. You're physically burning it. So the good point is that when you start to exercise and that call for energy is at its greatest, then it's the bad fats in your body that get burnt first. And I found that was definitely the best way to do it. And I still do it today. This morning I went out and I walked 10 k's, took me 2 hours. I ate nothing, drank nothing before I went out. Nothing wrong with drinking water, there's no calories in the water. There are some, but for practical purposes there's none. Okay, that's half an hour we've been talking about our week 6 coaching notes. I hope you'll agree that as we get into the weeks, they've gone up from about 15 minutes to half an hour, but the information that we're getting, it's less superficial, it's less, this is what we need to understand right now, and it's more a case of giving you information that you can use to plan where you want to go in the future, and you can come back and try different things. It's not necessarily going to help you in the 10K program itself, but it should help you in the years to come. Okay, there we go. So week 6 coaching notes, end of. We'll see you at the group session.